everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the 2 p.m. show, and Ruben Amorim wants a new number one. He wanted a number one in the summer. Was that delivered in Senne Lammens? Well, it's looking like it's not been, as reports are coming out that Ruben Amorim is eyeing up a new number one in the next transfer window, whether that be in January or the summer. Thoughts in on that. Also, there's been some keepers put forward who we are going to discuss as well. Harry Maguire, new contract. Fabrizio Romano has been talking about the fact that Harry Maguire could be in line for a new contract at Manchester United. Is that the right thing to do? Great leader, great mentality, but is it time to keep him on for a little bit longer or move him on? Let me know your thoughts. We will discuss it. And Ruben Amorim and the stats are back. The hardest fixtures factually through Opta at the start of the Premier League season, and Manchester United are delivering on the attacking stats, but something is going wrong because they're not being converted into points. How do we change that? We will discuss it. And anything else that you want to bring into the show as well. Of course, it is a community-led show, so get your comments in and let me know your thoughts, your feelings, and anything that you want to discuss, any polls or anything like that. But welcome to the show, everybody. It was just a minute that I was with you talking about Rashford, talking about keepers, talking about Xerxes, and now we're back to talk more because more news has come out. So sending our best wishes still to Goldbridge, who is still nursing a bit of a cold, I think, but hopefully he should be back and fit soon, fighting, ready to go. So let's get into it. Talking about fighting, Ruben Amorim's fighting. He's fighting against the internal decision makers at Manchester United, and he's not physically fighting. We've said this before. The recruitment at Manchester United should not be 100% driven by one sole person or one side of the team. It should be a joint effort. It should be a group effort. Ruben Amorim in the new structure gets his say. Christopher Vivell, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, the team behind the scenes get their say, the scouts and everything like that, and they come together, they have a meeting, and they decide who they're going to go for. And a little birdie has been telling me, I mean, it's going around everywhere, that Ruben Amorim wasn't necessarily at the front of the queue saying, yes, I want Benjamin Sesko, yes, I want Senne Lammens. What he was doing, he was at the front of the queue saying, I want an experienced striker, I want an experienced goalkeeper, and they were not delivered. However, you can't complain too much because he did get Matheus Cunha, brilliant player, is going to be very good for us. Brian Mbeumo already off to a very good start at Manchester United, experienced Premier League player who is, in my opinion, our best attacker and a fantastic player. However, they are the two number 10s that were brought in. Great, he wanted two number 10s. That was Ruben Amorim's demand. He got them. So he got his wish on that front, but there's still a lot more to do at Manchester United. An experienced number one goalkeeper was a must. It wasn't delivered. An experienced striker who could lead the line was a must. It wasn't delivered. Sesko, we all hope and pray he's going to do really well, and we're behind him. And Ruben Amorim is clearly behind him because he played him in the Chelsea game. He played him in the derby. He wants it to work. You know, he's going to work with him, and I'm sure he's not sat there going, God, I'm so annoyed we got Sesko. Like, he obviously still likes the player, but it just wasn't his number one choice. And for it to now come out after Manchester United sort of wrapped it up that Senne Lammens is going to be the number one. Get ready. We have got you a number one. It's the baby Courtois. He's been tracked by our goalkeeping department for years. Here is Senne Lammens. And like I said, every single player that comes into this football club, I hope does well. But we've not seen a minute of him yet. Ruben Amorim is choosing to play Altay Bayındır over him, which is damning in itself because, again, I don't want to go too harsh on Bayındır, but he's not good enough to be number one. He shouldn't be anywhere near the number one spot in Manchester United. And it's now coming out through reports that Ruben Amorim wants a new number one. So it's circulating about there. It's circulating out there that Ruben Amorim wants a new number one. He wants a more experienced first choice goalkeeper than Senne Lammens. Manchester United are monitoring AC Milan's Maignan, whose contract expires at the end of the season. So if you didn't hear it correctly there, Ruben Amorim wants a new experienced number one, someone with more experience than Senne Lammens, and Manchester United are looking at the option of Maignan, whose contract expires at the end of next season. Would you want Maignan is the first thing. I would ask you, let's run a little poll in the chat there for you guys to get involved in. Mike Maignan, yes or no? I don't think Manchester United are going to go for Mike Maignan, just because I just haven't seen much reports of us going near him as a goalkeeper at all until now, when it's coming up that he probably needs a move and wants to line up a move. You know, there's a lot of agent talk. We do it on the United Stand all the time. Is it the agent trying to get a move? Is it linking them to a club? Is there actually been talks held? I'm not sure if Mike Maignan would be a valid option for Manchester United. However, I do absolutely believe that Ruben Amorim wants an experienced goalkeeper. He always did. In the summer, he wanted Emi Martinez. In Senne Lammens' interview, which was put out when he signed, he got asked, have you spoken to the manager yet? And he said no, but I'm excited to speak with him and find out his plans. Surely, if a manager really wants a player, you speak to them. You convince them of your plan. You say how much you want him. We got reports in that Ruben Amorim had called Emi Martinez multiple times. I mean, there was reports in January that he'd called Diogo Costa and said that he wants him to be his number one at Manchester United. So if Ruben Amorim wants you, he's going to pick up the phone and speak to you. And again, like I said, it's not a slight on Senne Lammens. Meant to be a good young keeper. I hope he does fantastically well. I hope he starts against Brentford and he's amazing. I want him to be good. But Manchester United have consistently made mistakes along the way in recruitment where they have not picked the right option for the current period of time. If Manchester United, you're right up there at the top, competing, we had a starting 11 that was flying, you could afford to go down the Senne Lammens option. Even like Man City, they went and got Donnarumma, who has just levelled them up massively. And the only goal he's conceded so far was just an unbelievable chip, basically, from Martinelli, which was fantastic. And even that was just no keeper in the world is stopping that. He looks absolute top draw. But they could have afforded to go down that route. They have James Trafford. They could have maybe gone to Senne Lammens. And, they still could have had some good options there. But they went, nope, we're wanting to compete for the Premier League this season. We wanted to compete for the Champions League. We're going to go and get Donnarumma. I'm very sorry, James Trafford. I know you've just signed for us, but this is football. This is... we've got to do what's right for us and we've got to be brutal here. They go and get Donnarumma. Manchester United... You literally have an experienced goalkeeper who's won the World Cup waiting for you, that the manager is asking for. And in my opinion, we've cheaped out. Because we know what the INEOS model is, and I'm not criticising it. There's many good things we've done. De Ligt and Mazraoui, great pair of signings. Great pair of signings. I actually think Xerxes at the time was a good signing. We should have got another striker as well, but I like his versatility. I think he can be good for us. This summer, I think Mbeumo and Cunha are brilliant signings. Euro was a good player to get in when Real Madrid was chasing him. To get him when we did. We've done some good stuff, right? But what we haven't done is learn from previous mistakes. Sometimes we have opted to go for the cheaper, younger, potential version, but we don't actually give them the environment to grow and become the best version of themselves. We don't have a long-term plan for them. We don't have experienced players to help them nurture in, and we expect way too much of them too quickly. That being said, Senne Lammens might be the best thing since sliced bread when he comes in, but I'm just saying, when the manager's telling you he needs to walk before he can run, when you want to get the experienced players in that can come in now, it's worth listening to them. Look at the two players with experience that we've brought in this summer, Mbeumo and Cunha. Straight in the team, flying, making an impact. Sesko, we hope he's going to come good. I really hope we get some good performances out of him. I saw promising signs out of him in that game against Chelsea. I was gutted when he came off at the 45th minute. I thought he had more to offer, and I thought he would have been good for us in that second half. But it's a lot of pressure on his back straight away. Exactly what Højlund had to deal with. Different player, but a lot of pressure. And Onana's gone, who was never good enough anyway. Bayindir's starting in goal because Ruben Amorim doesn't want to shatter Senne Lammens' confidence and throw him in too quickly. We're about to go into October and we've not got a starting goalkeeper playing a game for Manchester United. Bayindir shouldn't be our starting goalkeeper, and Andre Onana's left. The Premier League started in August. That isn't good enough for a club that's hoping to compete for Europe. It's not. So, yeah, and we also talk about it being a collaborative effort, and it's like, who's ever going to say no to Cunha and Mbeumo? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay, Ruben Amorim wanted Cunha and Mbeumo, but it's not as if Jason Wilcox or the scouts are going to go, actually, you know what, Ruben? I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I don't think we want Cunha or Mbeumo. Obviously, you're going to want them players if you can get them. Cunha had a release clause. You know, it was a pretty straightforward deal to do. Mbeumo, fair play. You know, that was a difficult one to do. Brentford are notoriously difficult to deal with. But I don't know, it's just them two signings, although we desperately needed them positions, I don't think we handled them signings in the correct way that we should be doing if we want to compete with the elite. And, you know, there's still other things that we should have done as well, midfield, wing-backs. I know you can't do it all in one summer, but Ruben Amorim, when he mentioned that comment, and I do go back to it, when he alluded to that comment after the derby, if only you knew what had happened over the past few months, he's probably fought tooth and nail for certain things that haven't gone his way. He's a head coach. He doesn't get the say on absolutely everything. And then some people in the comments will say, and some of you guys watching at home will say, well, Erik ten Hag got a veto on everything and look how he turned out. Erik ten Hag's recruitment was absolutely terrible. But also, there was names that were put forward that we just didn't have the ambition to go and get and didn't want to pay for. What Man United have often done is they've gone for the cheaper, younger model because they think it'll serve them better long term. So we're not buying Emi Martinez for 30 million. He's 32 soon, or he's 33. Like, we're not going to get any money back on that. But what I think sometimes is overlooked is, okay, yeah, you've paid £30 million for a 30-year-old. Fair play, that is quite a decent chunk of money. But he's going to be a stable, reliable goalkeeper that can come in straight away and perform for you for the next 5 years. That brings you up into the top half of the table. He's a keeper that's able to be a top 4 keeper to get you into the Champions League, which generates a hell of a lot of money. You know, some people didn't want to go down the experience route of Ollie Watkins. Again, Ollie Watkins, I don't think he's the best striker in the Premier League. However, he is a striker that can compete within the top half of the table and can. But Man United finished 15th. You've got to walk before you can run, and the experienced players that Ruben Amorim wanted, he probably wanted it quickly because he wants quick results because he knows he has to get them and he wants to move up the table. They're the players that can get you knocking on the door for the Champions League, and then you can go for the potential players that might be absolutely elite if you work with them in the right way and coach them in the right way when you are in them competitions with the money coming in. So I think United have put a lot of pressure on signing young players hoping they are going to perform. But what they've failed to do is provide them with the environment to flourish. And we've got to do that. We've got to do that. Also, you've got to have a bit of patience with these players. United want instant results, but have gone with a patient-led approach. When you're getting in younger players with resale value that you can sell on if it doesn't work out, you've got to give them time, you've got to give them patience, and you've got to understand they're not going to be absolutely ready to start firing now. We need players that are firing now because we need to get back into the Champions League. Nomad Joe says, if Ten Hag had his way, we'd have Gakpo, Gravenberch and Harry Kane. Well, this is what I mean as well. You don't always get your first choice signings because it's a good point. He did want Gravenberch, he did want Gakpo, he did want Harry Kane. Like, Gakpo was the one they were pushing for and they didn't go for it. Harry Kane it's probably always going to be quite impossible to go and get, but that's who Ten Hag was pushing for. So it's we never will fully know what's going on behind the scenes, but what we do know, and this won't even be touching on it, is that he asked for a left wing back and put forward Estepinian. Estepinian would he have been the right profile? I mean, you can discuss it, but he asked for a left wing back. What we do know is that Amorim's top choice in January was Nuno Mendes from PSG. And United wouldn't go near it because it was too expensive. Don't think you would have been able to get Nuno Mendes out of PSG. He's absolute quality, and look at what PSG went to go and do that season. Would he have gone and left that team to come and play for Amorim at United? I don't think so, but we didn't even have a crack at it. He has asked for certain things that hasn't been delivered. You don't get everything as a manager, but you've got to keep these things in mind. I do think the one thing, though, where I am going to be quite harsh on INEOS, because I've given him so much credit for certain things. I think it's a good thing Sir Jim's in and around the football club showing his face. I think the way that we've sorted out our wage structure is good. I think our recruitment has got better. However, one thing from this summer I'm going to be seriously critical of: not getting a midfielder was a big drop of the ball. But when we managed to get, even before Onana went, we should have got a starting goalkeeper. But when we did manage to get Onana out, not going and signing a top goalkeeper, first choice goalkeeper, when we knew Onana was going to go, was a massive mistake. Whoever signed off on not going and doing that Emi Martinez deal, I think it was a huge drop of the ball. United needed that experience. Not even flinching to go and try for Donnarumma. And City fans will say, Donnarumma picked City over you. This has been lined up. He picked City over you. Like, he's only on 250 grand a week. He's not on 500 like the report. They will say that. And Donnarumma didn't pick City over United. He might have done if we even went in the race. Like, he might have well gone and picked working with Pep, playing in the Champions League and playing at a club that is currently on the footballing side of things further ahead than us. He might have done that. But he might have gone, you know what, a challenge at United, get them back to the top. Manchester United is a massive club. I'm going to go there. But we didn't even ask the question. We didn't even go for it. One of the best goalkeepers in the world, in the market, that is definitely going to come in, make a huge impact. We didn't even flinch to look for it. We had to at least go in for that and test the waters. So it's just certain things. I think we need to act like a club that is on a mission to get back to the top a little bit more. And I do think not getting an out-and-out number one this summer was a massive mistake. I really do. Like I said, hope Senne Lammens comes in, blows us all off our feet and does brilliantly well. But the fact he's still not starting, and Ruben Amorim said he's not got a defined number one, doesn't really bode well for me. In terms of other options, we spoke a little bit about Dean Henderson on the show earlier on today. It's come out from Samuel Luckhurst that Dean Henderson has told Confidence that he would never return to Manchester United. So Dean Henderson's off the table, it seems. I think if we did knock on the door and was like, here's a good wage and do you want to come back, I actually think he would. Like, he's going to say he's never going to go back, but if the number one spot was open at United, I actually think he would. But who knows? What I just say thank you to Dean Henderson for winning that FA Cup over Liverpool. That was lovely. So Dean Henderson isn't the be-all and end-all of the goalkeeping world anyway. It was just a story that went round this morning from Samuel Luckhurst actually as well. Other choices, I would really keep an eye on Diogo Costa. Diogo Costa, Amorim likes him. I would absolutely keep an eye on that because he's someone that Amorim might go back in for if we can get him at a decent price. And he fits the INEOS model of... he's going to be expensive. That's the only issue that we're going to have because we don't like to pay. But with Diogo Costa, he's still 26, so you are going to get a bit of longevity out of him. He falls under that bracket of like a Cunha and an Mbumo, where they've got a little bit of experience under the belts, but they've still got way more to give. And 26 for a keeper is literally like 22. For a normal player, that's how it is because they last a lot longer and they can go on for a lot longer and they get better as they move into them early 30 stages anyway. That's like a prime, like 27 to like 32 is probably like a prime for a keeper roundabout. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we did move for Diogo Costa, and that's someone who I would probably have my money on that Amorim would want. A lot of people don't want Maignan, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't either. The reason why I wouldn't want Maignan is I think there's better options out there, to be honest with you. It's not as if I'd be like, absolutely not, but I've just seen some things that I don't necessarily love about Maignan. He's had some really good performances, but he's not consistent enough for my liking. And what we do need at United is a consistent goalkeeper. But yeah, that's the goalkeeper story coming out. Let me know your thoughts. The votes on it are 54% of you say yes, you would take Mike Maignan, and 45% said no, you wouldn't. I kind of get why people 55% yes. For example, if... I lost my train of thought there because someone in the chat says, but she saw something she liked in Onana. Yeah, and that's what I've learnt my lesson. Don't just see, I saw from Onana a really good Champions League run and some good performances that season. I thought, you know what, good player, really good player, but you've got to, with a goalkeeper, you've got to see a lot of them to fully put your money on that they're going to be a good player. Like a lot like a lot of consistent games. And with Mike Maignan, I've not watched hundreds of games, but I've watched enough of him to see he can have an absolute 10 out of 10 world-class performance, but also as well, he's not the most consistent keeper. Which at United, you do need consistency. Yeah, but I understand why 55% of you said yes, because would you rather have Maignan or Bayindir? Maignan. You would. Like, he's much better than Bayindir. However, I don't know, there's no keeper on the market that absolutely stands out to me, but Costa is definitely one that Ruben Amorim likes, and I would assume he's going to push again in the next transfer window. Next up, we have Harry Maguire. Let's run a poll on this. Would you give Harry Maguire a new deal? Let me know in the comments. D King says, Porto keeper is the one for me. Visit says, we had an opportunity to buy Martinez. Why didn't we go for him? Because we chose money instead. Slavic is the one. Bendel says, bring back Onana. He's got the real quality. And Mr. Miracle says, there's not many keepers out there available better than Maignan, in my opinion. Well, everyone's got a different opinion, haven't they? Would you give Maguire a new deal? Yes or no? Just for context with Harry Maguire, let me just make sure it's absolutely correct on this. I know his current deal expires next summer in 2026. Okay, yeah. So Harry Maguire's contract with Manchester United runs until 2026, following the club triggering a 1-year extension in January. So his 1-year extension has already been triggered. His contract ends in June 2026. So he could speak to clubs about signing for them in January. Maguire is going to have to be told, we're parting ways in June, or he's going to be offered a new contract pretty quickly. This is what Romano said about it. He said, Maguire is still seen internally as at Manchester United after 250 appearances as a leader in the dressing room, as a very important player, and this is why his future will be a point of discussion very soon. Ruben Amorim really appreciates the mentality of Harry Maguire. People at the club really respect what Maguire is trying to do also for the younger players arriving at the club now. And so for the future, Maguire will be a topic. He has a lot of respect internally and has a good relationship with the coach. So to there, from Romano, he's saying that they're going to discuss potential of a new contract very soon. Amorim really likes him. They like his mentality. They like what he's been through. And all of that, I absolutely applaud. I absolutely applaud it. I think Harry Maguire's mentality is absolutely top draw. I think on his day, he's a really good centre-back. I think he's come through a lot of hurdles and showed he has the steel to play for Manchester United. I love the fact that he's a leader in the dressing room, good with the younger players, and I understand why Amorim likes him. All that being said, when I'm offering somebody a new contract that I'm pretty sure is on around 190 grand a week, let me just check, £190,000 per week, I've got to ask myself a few questions. How much game time are they going to get? How important are they to the squad? What's the longevity in this player? Are they worth the money that I'm paying them? And does the manager see a future for them in this team? So with that, Ruben Amorim likes Rasmus Højlund. Ruben Amorim had a good relationship with Andre Onana. Ruben Amorim isn't afraid to move players on if they don't serve a purpose, whether he likes them or he doesn't. And I'm not putting Maguire in the Onana category because he can certainly offer something to this football club. I thought he was really good against Chelsea. I think in a back three, in the centre, is where he thrives. I actually thought him, Shaw and De Ligt looked really good together. However, I don't think he's going to be a permanent starter for Amorim moving forward. I think Maguire is a player that you bring off the bench in like the last 20 minutes to either defend a lead or go and get you a goal. He's got good attributes, but at this point in his career, going forward for United, I don't think he's going to be on the starting sheet for Amorim every single game. So he's a squad player, basically. 190 grand a week, squad player. Mentality, excellent. Good with the young players. It's always good. You need leaders in the dressing room, absolutely. All of that is well and good, 100%. But is that all worth 190 grand a week? Or do you move him on at the age that he is and, you know, say thank you so much for your service. You've been fantastic for us since you've, you know, come through everything that you've had to face, and You've provided some good moments for us. You've always remained professional. We appreciate you. You've always kind of given your all for this football club and remained professional throughout it all. We appreciate that. And do you say, we're going to take the 190 grand a week. I want to bring in someone who's like 26, ready for the step up, ready to go and be a starting centre-back, top centre-back at United, a Gabriel type figure. I'm not saying Gabriel because we're not going to be able to sign someone like him, but the next sort of Gabriel, the next Canate, even though Canate's not at the best start to the season, but he's a very good centre-back, the next Van der Ven, the next Romero, the next Van Dijk, one of them players. Do we take that 190 grand a week and put it towards bringing a centre-back in who is going to be a starter for the now and for the future of this club? Because as much as I like Harry Maguire, as much as I'd love to keep him around for leadership and to be able to bring him on to help win you a game, and when you're in Europe he's still going to start games, you can rely on him for that. I think he's good with the ball at his feet. I can't speak highly enough of how he's been over the last couple of years. He's been solid for us, but he has had injury problems that you've got to look at, and he is now, let me have a look at his age, 32 and 33 in March. And he even said himself in an interview that he has to read the game a little bit differently now, because as you get to this age of your career, your body is different. Like, you can't do as much as you used to be able to do. So he's an utmost professional. I'd leave with my greatest respects, but I personally think for the best of Manchester United, I'd go and make sure you scout out the next player that you're going to bring in that is going to be a starter and an elite player at Manchester United with the money that you'd spend on giving him a new contract. So as much as I love Harry, and honestly I'm so thankful for some of the moments he's given us, and I really respect his professionalism, I wouldn't be offering the new contract. I'm going to be honest. To you guys, I think we need to spend that money on a top player that can come in and elevate us. That's what I would do personally. I just think about it, like, if it was Arsenal, would they be doing it? If it was City, would they be doing it? If it was Liverpool, would they be doing it? Maybe if, you know, they were in the situations they're in now where they've got top players in them positions and they can afford to have, you know, a bit of a squad player. But we need to improve all areas of the pitch, and I do actually think we will need a new centre back. So I would probably move him on for that reason. So I'm going to vote in the poll, see what it comes out for you guys. Smash a like on the video if you've not already. Chrisman says, I would try to bring Gahey in. Exactly. I think Gahey will go to Liverpool. But could you imagine, Maguire goes on a free and you get to bring in, you know, the next up and coming, Gahey. Brilliant technically, can score you a goal, excellent defensively, top professional, top work ethic. That would be the exact sort of move where I would look at INEOS now and go, class. You've not held on for too long, and you've come and brought the next one through that is going to be the next great centre-back in, and you've got him in for Man United. I would applaud that massively. I do think he'd go to Liverpool, but we need to. There's other good centre-backs out there at that age that we can go and get and bring in and nurture and make our next best centre-back. Just on that, interesting quote from Harry Maguire, right? He said, I mean, I'll just read out a few of these because it's quite interesting to listen to. On 250 appearances for United, he said, to play that amount of games is a huge privilege. The dream of a young kid growing up in Sheffield to play one game for Manchester United would have been a dream come true. To play 250, I feel really lucky and really grateful. Hopefully there's many more to come and some good memories to come along with it. He also said on Luke Shaw approaching 300 appearances, which is mad, innit? Because Luke Shaw has obviously been here for so much longer than Harry Maguire, yet he's only just approaching 300 appearances. You don't play at the club 250 or 300 times if you're first and foremost not a good player. Luke's an excellent footballer, and every manager that comes in, he gets questioned a lot. That's what happens at a club. Every manager that comes in plays Luke, and there's a reason why they play Luke. It's because he's an excellent footballer, always has been and always will be. And can I just say on that from Harry Maguire, I thought great way of speaking up his teammate. Luke Shaw has been injured a lot. It's still so gutted that he got that really horrible injury that time against PSV, which set him back a lot. But what Harry Maguire has just said there on Luke Shaw is true. He might be very injury prone. He might have not played as much as he should have done for Manchester United. But every manager that walks through that door picks him and plays him. And it's because he's, at his core, he's a very, very good player. And I stand by it. I stand by it. Anyway, would you give Maguire a new deal? Yes or no? I still can't see the results of that. I'd like to read them out if possible. And 61% of you say no, so it's close, but sort of on the same page that we can't be sentimental and we've got to do what's best moving forward for the future. And just last but not least, I thought this was interesting. So coming in from Opta, Manchester United have had the hardest first 5 fixtures of all Premier League teams this season, yet no club has a higher XG or taken more shots so far this season than Ruben Amorim's side. So we've had the hardest games on paper according to Opta, yet we've got some of the best attacking stats in the league. Why are these not converting into points? I mean, some people might say we're just taking too many shots and it's inflating the stats. Well, if you actually look deeper into it, our XG is first, total shots is first. Our shot conversion is 17th in the league, 7.4%. 17th in the league shot conversion for the highest XG and the highest total shots. Like, our shot conversion has to be better. We have to be working on it in training. I don't know whether it's the pressure. I don't know whether it's the circumstance, not picking the right pass. I don't know what, the angles, whatever it is. We need to get our shooting boots on, and I'd be working on finishing all week. We've got to start putting these balls in the back of the net. We've got a striker in for a reason. Let's let some of the chances fall to him. Like, Sesko is an excellent ball striker. Let's get him some chances to get a shot on goal. So there's some stuff to think about there. Like, if you can just get your shooting boots on, we've said this so many times, but hopefully we can start converting them and start getting some goals across the line. But look, Luke says, because we can't put the ball onto Sesko's head. Oh, gosh. And Dubby Guy says, if we can't offer Maguire a new deal for a season or 1.5 seasons, then we have absolutely useless personnel doing the contract negotiations. If you'd say like another 1 year deal for Maguire, does Maguire want to take that? Or does he want a little bit of longevity? And I think we need to go for a centre-back next year, to be honest with you. That's just my personal take. So let me know what you think. Martinez, we can't rely on him because of injuries as much as I'd like to. I think he goes into the midfield really well. And Amorim clearly rates him, but he's injury prone. Aidan Heaven, is he ready yet? Yoro's still got some progression to do, as much as he's going to be playing football. He's not the end product. And Delay is fantastic, but you can't just rely on him to be the central centre back. You'd need to go and get someone else. Mufasa says, Beth, what 3 midfielders do you want for next year? It's a tough question, but Belabor and Adam Wharton would absolutely be high up on my list. Absolutely. Still pains me how close we were to getting Gravenberch, by the way, who, in my opinion, is probably the best deep line midfielder in Europe right now. So anyway, I do digress. Thank you everyone so much for getting involved in the comments and getting your chats in below, watching the stream, being involved in the morning show and on this show. Smash a like on the video for Goldbridge's return. Hopefully he's feeling much better soon. And remember, the United Stand every day, 10 a.m, 2 p.m, 8 p.m. There will be a show later on tonight. Stay tuned for that. Ben Jacobs on Thursday. Get ready. It's going to be a great show. We've got so many things to ask him and discuss. And of course, away from all the United action, there is That's Football, where we have watch-alongs, daily videos, loads of stuff. Bundesliga, live Bundesliga games on a Friday night, which I've been massively enjoying. So make sure you head over there and switch the notifications on as well. Look, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.